scouting it out now. Xeon's in. They finally have the spike through the Viper wall.
Can't use that.
All 5 still alive. It's going to be a 5v5 plant here. Looks like, ooh, Billy's going to go down, but Frogman picks up 2. J-Mula picks up 1 more.
And the switch to the pistol is going to net J-Mula another. And I gotta remind myself now. I've been saying Frogpan has been on Viper this whole match already. Frogpan's on Astra, not on Viper. That's Billy. Come on, you're supposed to remind me and catch me on those.
It takes time, man. It takes time.
Anyway, a pretty solid buy-up round from DSU. They'll be running into some heavier resistance this time around, but really, I think they made it out with, I think, only 1 casualty that whole round.
Yeah, super strong buy there, and they're actually ecoing very, very well here, coming in with just a hero rifle and then a couple, smaller guns just to kind of do a little bit of tick damage to their economy as they get into this 3rd round here, because they know that they'll have a buy even if they lose this round. But getting as many people dead this round will grant them so much more of an economic advantage going into the next future rounds. So super huge.
Choosing to take a very fast approach onto B once again. Off of Xeon's run it back. He's able to chase down so many players. Not good for a kill, but a lot of damage put out. Unfortunately, Frogpan will fall in the midst of that. KO's really low. 1 bullet or 1 tickle from a molly will put him down. And Spike has yet to be planted. 1 minute left. Xeon's finally going to sit down.
A lot of util coming out here as we get down into this. The bomb goes down. Going to be a 4v4 situation. Looks like Xeon barely gets out in time. And now Billy and J-Mula playing on backside of B.
Really excellent post plant here as we have a bunch of KJ utilities sitting on the spike. So kills are going DSU's way. KJ does unfortunately drop, but it's J-Mula. Not quite. The Jet with the faster headshot with that Vandal. It'll take him down.
Advantage. You get Pika's advantage. That's super tough to kind of combat, especially with Jet being on a right side peak. It's kind of unfortunate, but that's okay. Being in such an economic standpoint for these guys, being able to get 4 people down, even while you're on such a short buy, that's huge for these guys, because now, as you see, they're able to buy full equipment and util, as well as full shields, guns, while these guys, they're going to have to save and kind of, manage their economy just a little bit as they get into this next round. So
and that's the power from, you don't expect to win that 3rd round if you win the pistol. You're expecting to finally lose, but they brought it down to the wire. And if DSU somehow was able to win that, we'd be seeing a very different round. We wouldn't be seeing any Vandals or Phantoms, any rifles at all coming from Dickinson. And so it was that one last split-second decision. Oh, and the Fade will be taking down Billy. The lurk on B isn't going to net much.
A lot more mid-aggression here from Lunchbox and Xeon. Frogfan good for 2.
Evening out the score lines.
Tries to go for 1 more. He gets it. And that's going to be almost a clear A site here as he throws down his smokes and tries to get his team rotated over. Fade and Lunchbox now trying to go for a little bit of a pick here.
Lunchbox, he's just lurking around hard. It's down just to the Fade of Dickinson.
Playing in dugout here, gonna have to be really careful here. Xeon's playing super sneaky. He gets the crouch. Oh, Lunchbox there for the trade.
That's another great round. Unfortunately, they did drop 3 players on DSU's side, but they should have a bye coming back into this. But this will be a very, very important round for DSU to win and win cleanly. Dickinson didn't bonus well enough or didn't save well enough. They're not able to get another buy coming into here. So this will be another save round from Dickinson.
Yeah, after buying up, after winning that 1 round in round 3, they thought they could kind of take advantage and get a little bit more pressure going on in economically. It's going to be a tough word throughout the night. But, since they had bought up just a little bit more than they probably should have, and they lost that round, even if they took out a couple of DSU's members, they were still able to win that round, and so that granted them more money for this round here.
A site is relatively clear with only this Astra watching in that little gutter area, but that looks like where DSU is going to end up executing on. That's a great play from DS. Unfortunately, the opposing team didn't fall into your trap.
And once again, Lunchbox, Xeon, and now J-Mula just having a lot of mid presence here, getting through art without any contestation at all. And once again, we're going to be seeing another 5v5 plant here. And they might have DS might have actually planned for this, though. Playing they 4-stacked B, it looked as if, and so now getting a 5-stack for a retake is going to be a scary situation. Looks like Fate's going to get one.
The trades are out, and Billy will get another.
And Fatal comes out as well. Billy good for one more. Off site here, but looks like it might be okay.
Billy's gonna get a third, hunting for the fourth, but Frog Fan will steal it away as DSU cleanly take another round off of DS.
Yeah, well executed there. It seemed as if DS maybe planned for the retake there. They had the Fate ult, and it's kind of something that we saw come out later on after the plant. And it just really wasn't enough for DSU to handle. Like they were just like, yeah, go ahead. We'll just play back here and watch.
I mean, it's a really smart play when you're on those like lower economy buys. You're able to stack numbers over, or it's quantity over quality at that point. Having 4 people on the B site, yeah, you're only with sheriffs and maybe a couple marshals, but I mean, if 3 people peek 4, you still have the numbers advantage there. And then, of course, if they go to the A site, you have those numbers for the retake. Unfortunately, it didn't net them all that much. That's a lot of util from the Viper from DS to try to just lock down these doors.
Once again, a lot of presence in mid. Lunchbox and Billy now. Billy peeks out through the smoke and gets Viper.
Clean kill there from Billy.
Xeon's also going to go for one. He pops his ult onto B. Trying to go back post. He gets
Unfortunately,
one.
he wasn't able to take down the KO before Jmula fell. It will be a 4 versus 2. 2 versus 3, I should say, as Billy does fall to the jet. Oh, and the shot goes wide. Lunchbox.
A little bit of a scare there, but manages to secure the kill.
If he would have lost that, I would have hit the clip button and we would have never let it go.
Oh, it would have gone on every social media ever.
Whiff almost had the whiff of the century, but the timer will tick down. Xeon's hunting for this jet. Not gonna let him live. I gotta make sure the gun can still fire. It is a tree after all.
And another nice round secured by DSU there. And once again, we're gonna be seeing DS on another save round, and they're gonna have to pretty much give up this round and just try to go for picks. And maybe if they get lucky enough, if DSU starts to falter, if maybe they start picking out some of the things that DSU is doing, they might get this round. But even if they do, they're still going to be on that save round. So going to be a lot of sheriffs and marshals coming out this round here. But we're seeing a lot of presence from Xeon and Lunchbox playing mid. And, pretty much the same setup almost every time. But we see a lot of DS trying to push through A
this
here.
Early aggression out of DS here. They're going to drop one. They saw Young Savage. He's not going to make it out alive. The aggression not going to net too much. I liked the early attempt at a flank. Unfortunately, DSU is just in such a perfect default. Billy's going to be aggressing. He's going to... Oh, Saruka's not going to spot him with that Fave utility, so he's going to be able to lurk still, taking B, and with all that aggression pulling everyone from Dickinson over to A, the Spike's just going to rotate. Billy has the whole site here. Yeah, and this is going to be basically a free plant. Saruka's going to finally get the read and is finally going to start rotating back, but...
Yeah, what a well-executed movement there from Billy, able to dodge the Fade dog and basically get free sight.
And then he pulls out a molly like that. DSU, you're winning the game pretty hard, but some of these whiffs are a little... Oh, Billy!
Through the smoke!
That was a nasty shot from Billy, sitting down his Viper counterpart. And it's down just to the KO. He's going to be good for 1, taking down Frogfan, but not a whole lot you can do with a Marshal when you're running into 4 players with rifles.
What an amazing shot from Billy there. That was pure game sense, essentially. Just knowing that someone has to be there.
And this isn't the first kill, but this isn't that last kill that he got, but the first kill, it was very much the same when he does peek into this alleyway. It's just crosshair placement and game knowledge immediately locking onto the head, just showing how skilled of a player Billy truly is. But DSU, they're just stacking up the credits so hard that even with this round win, if DS is able to pull it off, DSU sitting pretty for pretty much the rest of the half. They have to do something really off the wall to not be able to buy pretty much for the rest of the half.
And, we're seeing kind of a default from both sides here. We have Fade and Viper playing on B, and then we've got KO and Astra playing mid, as well as Jet playing alone on A. And, the same thing goes for DSU. We see a lot of the same thing here. And it's kind of working for them. We see a lot of presence from Xeon and Lunchbox playing mid. However, now they're actually going to go for the KO, or the KJ ult, and get pretty much a free sight here. And as well as the Viper.
With Billy putting the Viper ult down, Jay Mula is going to push out mid's reload. He's going to live with 44 HP, but there's 2 players here. He's good for 1. Pulling out the util. Frogfan's going to pull him out. And it's down just to 2 players left for Dickinson. Jet's going to be able to find 1, so is Fade. Saruka, though, will fall.
Billy going down the smoke as well. Down to a 1v2 situation. Jay Mula not too good on health, but might be okay here.
That'll be 1-for-1 trade. Frogfan gonna net the win there. So DSU still winning, still earning up those rounds. But at this point, Colin, I gotta ask, is this just Pearl being more of an attacker side match, or is this just DSU doing their own homework?
Honestly, I really think that this is just DSU putting in the work. We see DS, they're defaulting every round on defense, right? But they're giving up so much mid space. They're letting him go all the way into art. They're getting him pretty much right next to sight, and then they can just util spam at that point. It's just, all right, let me just pop my flashes, pop my mollies, and I'm pretty much on site. They have to give it to me. They can't see me, they're blind, or, they're walled off, whatever it may be. They're just playing so well in this mid presence here.
And now, finally, as you say it, DS will be taking some mid control, and KO is gonna get the flash and the running spray. Will be traded out, though.
Jet caught a little bit too high up on mid and going to be taken down by Frogfan. Xeon now going for the flash at Art.
Oh, Young Savage going to be living with 1 HP. The wall bang headshot there, not quite taking him down, but you look at the Astra run now and they're going to fall.
Down to a 3v4 situation here. A lot of time to work with still yet to rotate and figure out a game plan, but it looks like they might be going for a B hit here.
I gotta point out that conditioning wall once again that Billy keeps throwing is that it still allows, let's say Frog pushes on A, they're requiring his smokes there, but Billy always has this wall up for that rotate.
Exactly. Even if they decide not to go B, they still have that wall down there anyway to force them to at least watch it, because you can walk up that wall, wait for it to drop down, and that's almost a free pick every time.
And now DS is back. Attempting the defuse. Saruka's gonna get 1 as they take themselves off of the spike. Taking down Xeon as well. It's 2 versus 2. Young Savage can't really afford to be the one to defuse. Especially now.
Oh, Xeon getting a nasty shorty kill.
Just through the spike, through the smoke there. It was just, they're able to take down Saruka, and that was really the player that they needed to keep alive. They must have called out that the Astra was super low too.
Unfortunate. But it's tough. These guys are very smart. Of course, as I mentioned it, of course, they got caught at mid, but they still adapted very well, and they were able to trade off those picks and, still make a game plan.
DSU going to be defaulting this round instead. Nothing too heavy on either side. The spike will be hanging out towards A.
It seems like they just feel so comfortable, honestly. Like they're doing the same thing almost every round. They're very comfortable in the situations that they're in, taking those mid fights, or, maybe like lurking at A and just waiting for them to peek up forward. They're doing very well.
Yeah, I also got to point out that they're getting a lot of just the default positions that DS stands in. They're able to, we're seeing Young Savage right now already taking quite a bit of damage. That's just from spraying through the wall. Just spraying through the wall, the doors in mid, but Jet and everyone from DS is going to be taking a kill left and right, and this is going to look like a round 2 for Dickinson.
Wow, so many kills there through the smoke. So unfortunate for DSU.
They just sprung the trap, taking down DSU. It's just down to Frogfan, but the Jet player from Dickinson was really going to be putting in the work.
Yeah, going 11 and I believe 8. Doing very good work, honestly. And, same credit goes to Xeon going 13 and 4.
I mean, what do you expect from
my.
Xeon? The dude's just nuts. Only he dies on the 2 rounds they lose, and then like 2 more. But otherwise, the dude's had a nearly completely flawless run so far. Everyone else from DSU also doing very well. Frogfan at 11-4. And everyone else has a 1-1 KD.
But they're doing their work. They're all playing their very, very good roles. They're not afraid to use their ults, use their util. We saw Phoenix ult and the KJ ult and the Viper ult come out all at once. They're a very strong team. They're not afraid to,
Jamula was just on the edge of that snare there. Fortunately for them, they're not going to get spammed up by anything. Billy, the spray goes wide. Surga's going to take him down, but this is DSU's point.
See a lot of trades there from
everyone off. Failed wall.
Not a very good wall from Xeon.
I gotta call it out now. Whoever we're interviewing in our post-game interview, I gotta ask about the util on Pearl. Once, yes. Twice, okay, you're pushing it. And 3 times, oh boy.
Xeon trying to go for the spray, not quite able to knock it down though, but in a 3v1 situation, KO's gonna have to make a move and Jamula's gonna take him down. Jamula getting 3 that round.
No charges left.
And that'll be 9-2 so far. Last round in the half, DS does have a bye. It's gonna be a little bit broken, as one player isn't able to afford heavy shields. One player is gonna be down to a Spectre, but yeah, that'll be a pretty decent half so far for DSU.
Yeah, they're doing fantastic. There hasn't really been a time, where they've been economically challenged, and it's pretty much just been all in the hands of DS having to make all of these, rapid changing games, honestly. They've been so comfortable in the positions that they're playing, and they're doing so well giving that mid control, doing what they need to do to condition these guys and really get a round sorted for these guys.
Speaking of the mid control, one thing I'm noticing ever since that round that DS Dickinson super aggressed that mid, DSU's kind of left it alone. They've now completely changed their game style. We've always had 3 people going in A main. And so yeah, Dickinson was able to adapt, but DSU was able to adapt the next round.
And that just comes with conditioning, okay, now that you've finally got that figured out, how about this? And see what you have to say about this. And then as soon as you figure that out, we'll do something different. And that's just, the adaptability of this team is absolutely crazy.
Lunchbox being taken down to 2 HP just from spam alone. The Jet's gonna be netting 2. 3. And the KO and Young Savage will be finishing it out. We'll be seeing a 3-9 half in favor of DSU.
Switching sides.
Yeah, super interesting to see that. We saw that happen a couple rounds ago as well. The second round that they lost is, and they're just kind of getting a lot of kills through smoke. And maybe they're getting lucky, maybe, but they're also doing a very good job predicting that they're in the smoke and having that probability. And they're doing very well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to call out the curse at this point, because we are seeing a very strong DSU. I gotta say, there were 2 rounds that that Dickinson won where it was a toss-up, where it was actually a competitive round. Both came down to just the Jet player spamming through the smokes, honestly. For the fact that first round, I guess the second round they won, it was Jamula to fall first, and then they ended up spraying down everyone else in Art. And then they get 3 just by spraying the smoke.
And, credit to them. Maybe you might consider them lucky in some cases, but you have to give them credit where credit's due. And, getting a 3-piece through smoke is pretty impressive.
Most definitely, but DSU are going to be stacking heavily over on the A site for their first pistol round defense.
DS now taking a little bit more mid control, and now Billy going to be contesting that at B-Link. Lunchbox good for 1.
Lunchbox with the turret's going to be taking down Young Savage. That was the turret, I think, took half that player's HP.
Billy being contested here is going to have to play a little bit safe. Throws a molly off.
That'll at least slow them down momentarily, but the execute is through Art onto A. But DSU, they have the perfect pincer here to cut this off.
Fade gonna be good on Jamula.
Sion's gonna have to heal up a little bit as a lot of damage was taken. Fado will be taking down Frog, so it's numbers advantage in favor of Dickinson, but Fatal is down to 1 HP. And
Billy with a
Saruga.
very nice classic shot there. Playing a very nice crossfire. Just gonna be good for one on Xeon.
And that'll be Dickinson taking the pistol round.
Yeah, and that's, I think the rotate that they had going from B-Link over to Art was just so fast. And that's just one of the most important things about this map is that you have to make sure that you maintain and understand the rotations between mid across sites. And that's just a super important thing that, not a lot of players have mastered yet.
And that just comes from this map being so new. We did see it a little bit in CCL last semester. We're seeing it a lot more now this semester. But no, Dickinson's going to actually be feeling quite confident and going to be buying up to 3 different Vandals coming into their bonus round.
Going to be a super scary round for these guys. It's a high risk, high reward situation here. J-Miller's going to throw a flash out. They're going to be a heavy hit on A. Looks like all 5 of them stacked through A main. Frogfan gets cornered.
It was a nice right click. The Astra's hurting now. Or Fade's hurting now.
Phoenix playing super close here. Xeon now.
It's Xeon. Xeon is bread and butter.
He's here for the content. He doesn't care if we win or lose. He's here for the content.
But DS, they're just getting the kills left and right. This is what bringing in the Vandals and Phantoms does.
Lunchbox gonna be good for 1, but not quite able to secure the round, unfortunately.
That's just a Spectre lost as well. That wasn't any of the Vandals that DS ended up bringing into this. And so going into this bonus round, you're bringing in 4 Vandals and a Spectre. A Spectre's nothing to bat your eye at. I mean,
Especially when you have a buy-up,
you almost have
yeah.
better equipment than DSU does.
Yeah, exactly. And now DSU is going to have to force up everything they have. And even Xeon here, we see him buying light shields. So now they're really going to have to, make ends work to kind of compete with the economy that they have. So
this is a very crucial round for Dakota State to win. Slightly less so for Dickinson, but still, every round when you're down this hard is vital to taking this first map.
some heavy mid presence here from DS. We see a 3-stack on KO, Jet, Viper. And then, 2 lurks on either side of the mains. Playing a little bit safe here.
Be a swarm grenade. The alarm bot was taken down by the KO. And so a lot of that utility going into B-Link has been used. Billy's going to not get... I don't think anyone got knifed there.
Lunchbox hits full blind here.
Oh, the molly misses. Allowing Lunchbox to live yet another day while Billy's going to come in, try to save him, but no, the molly fragile is just going to be too much for Lunchbox.
Xeon now showing his presence, showing it up.
He's going to
Gets
get one
with the molly. Oh, not quite able to get the second one, though. It's super low.
DSU, they have the numbers. 1 player left on the B side, but they have spiked down in B-Link. Young Savage has a lot of work cut out for them. They're going to be walking straight into Billy, who does get the kill. 3 off of the rip for Billy coming in. And they're lived with 3 players. That's huge. You're going to be able to buy your teammates coming into this. Unfortunately, Dickinson will have a pretty decent buy themselves just from having such a good bonus round themselves. But, I mean, you could have done... I would say you couldn't do much better for DSU going into that round than living with 3.
Yeah, and I think a super timed trap set up for DSU there. And, they gave him B-Link possession after, Lunchbox fighting his way through it, unable to, get a pick there. And unfortunately, Lunchbox fell. However, we see Xeon and Billy, they all just kind of, surrounded that B-Link area and were able to kind of convert that. And that was really good on their part.
Now we're going to see a switch up in pace from Dickinson. We're stacking up more towards the A site as 2 players come in from Art. They're going to net 2. Both Jay Mula and Billy will go down. And the spam onto Frog Fan. They must know he's there.
From Frog Fan here.
They must know he's actually there. But a long-range Spectre kill from Lunchbox will be taking down the KO. No flawless.
Lunchbox getting down to about 1 bullet left of health there. Frogfan's gonna get 1 despite being on 10 HP. Bomb goes down, Viper ult comes up. Oh, but he gets him through the smoke.
Through the smoke, gonna be down to one player. It's just the Jet. Oh, but they're good for 2.
Oh, wow.
Xeon coming in clutch, able to take an off angle to finally get the kill there, but that was looking real scary for Dickinson to be able to take that. The spam through the smokes. I'm just saying.
It was, I mean, it's a super, he got scared that oh, wow, that's funny. I'm sorry.
The Phoenix there really won that, but the Jet, I mean, the sprays through the smoke, impeccable this game
and you
so
know, it's
far.
a super scary situation when you're trying to defuse the bomb and all you can see is just this smoke. And you know, of course, the defender of the bomb, they know where the bomb is, so all they have to do is spray. But you don't know where those shots are coming from unless they have a Vandal.
And they're spraying with a Phantom. They have no bullet tracers on that weapon. We'll be seeing a slightly broken buy from Dickinson, but they still seem to be wanting to force here. I don't know if that's necessarily the smartest decision, as DSU is on 11 rounds.
Gonna be a huge 5-stack on A main here, though. The Fade ult comes out and they're gonna get a free plant, but that's okay. They have 5-man for retake, so it's gonna be a 5v5 after the plant.
Phoenix running in, trying to get something with the run it down, run it back.
Good for one on the flash.
One enemy remaining.
And he's gonna come back.
It's
and
just the
Frogman
Asteroid,
picks
just
up
Young
3.
Savage. Young Savage living, but Xeon comes back.
Frogfan picking up 3 while Xeon was ulted there. What a well done performance from Frogfan there.
And that's honestly what I really like about Phoenix and why I'm surprised I don't see this agent played more is the run it back is just such a strong ultimate to use in those situations. It's basically a free life. You gain and lose almost, or you have nothing to lose and everything to gain from getting a kill.
Yeah, essentially. And, you know, it's basically, even if you don't get a kill, you know, it's still free information that you're obtaining, you know, that now that you know where those people are. So you have a little bit of a slight advantage over the next peak, because if you've got flashes or, you know, a wall and a flash, you've got such a huge advantage after the ult.
Another quiet round start here. Spike's gonna be sitting still in spawn.
And yet another broken buy from DS here as they try to kind of
They have
pick
to
up
force
their
up
scraps. Yeah, of course they do. Yeah.
There's nothing left. There's nothing left to lose. No more ground they can give away. That's a great start to it as Lunchbox falls. And it forces DSU to really recommit themselves to this B link area.
Billy, good for 1.
And nearly unscathed too. That's such a great trade there, as opposed to the KO down to like 1 HP. Advantage is in the hands of DSU. They have 2 ultimates to play with. The Spike's gonna be rotating back towards A. The flash there didn't end up seeing anyone.
Billy's gonna be popping his ult over at B. So pretty much forcing them, conditioning them, if you will, to kind of stack on it, and now they have to. And it looks like
Frogfan gonna get another spray
2.
through the smoke. And that's gonna basically seal the deal. Last nail in the coffin. Young Savage has a mountain to get over to bring this back, but they first have to pick up the spike. Spray through the smoke. It's gonna net more damage onto
Jamula
Jamula.
peeking up. He knows he has to reload, and he's gonna be able to pick him up.
And that will be map 1, going the way of Dakota State.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know if I expected something. I don't know if I expected that outcome per se. You know, 5 and 12. You know, that's quite a large margin. You know, maybe at the beginning I was kind of thinking, well, maybe Pearl's just kind of like an offensive sided map, and we kind of saw that with the amount of offensive pressure that they were kind of showing on when buying up super heavy, almost like 4 Vandals, I believe it was, on round 2, and I was like, maybe Pearl is just an offensive sided map. But we saw DSU really come through on defense.
I gotta say, I don't think it actually all that is. After seeing DSU's defense themselves, we were able to see. I mean, it was a mountain that Dickinson had to get over. The only times they actually got spiked down, I mean, they won pistol and they won the bonus. But each round after that, DSU was able to wipe the floor with them. They were able to get spiked down pretty easily, but they just couldn't defend that spike anymore. So DSU really showing a lot of promise on Pearl, and a lot of promise in this match. I expected a lot more of a rivalry between these two schools.
I did as well, and that's why I was like, well, and it was kind of just like I was almost hoping, maybe it was just that this is just an attack-sided map, but DSU really came through on defense, and they honestly didn't have to work too crazy hard on offense either. We saw them default a couple of times, a lot of mid-presence, and then maybe a lurk or two on both sides of the main map, and whenever that quit working, they just switched it up, and it worked after that. And so they didn't have to do a whole lot of, play-by-playbook on offense. It was kind of just whatever worked, and they did very, very well on offense.
I'm sorry, I'm getting really confused right now because our observer is hovering the map icebox, but if I'm reading this right, and Colin, you can correct me, the second one there, DS says pick split.
We do have DS pick split, so
it's Frog Fan who's hovering the map, and so it's up to them. But yeah, anyway,
I wouldn't mind seeing Icebox though. Icebox is one of my favorite maps.
It's a good map, don't get me wrong, but like a split. Come on.
I know. Split's a fun map to play on. Don't get me wrong, but
now I do want to come back to a little bit of what we saw on Pearl because I gotta say I was expecting a lot stronger of a game coming out of Dickinson, and it just kind of felt like it fell flat. Realistically, the only person that was like really doing well, I mean, they were top of the lobby, was the Jet, but everyone else seemed to be struggling to get consistent trades with DSU, and it just seemed like either Dakota State did their homework, which I don't put it against them, or Dickinson has kind of lost a little bit of the groove a little bit. I don't know. It might be off of the steeper competition coming out of CCL, but also DSU, they've been on, they had one game loss, their first loss in the regular season against, I think it was NDSU again, don't quote me on that. But then also the week after, they drop another map, which if you remember the narrative of last semester, they never dropped maps. And that was their big hype moment. And so now we're seeing DSU maybe come back with a bit of a vengeance and really saying, no, we are going to be taking the championship this semester and we are going to be winning this. So maybe doing a lot more research to take down their rival in such a fantastic manner.
Yeah, and
really showing through.
Like you said, I really wouldn't put it past these guys because the last time that they played at finals of last semesters and they ended up losing. So if I were DSU, I would not put it against them to want to do their research and really secure this win. This win is it's not just about winning the game. It's more of like a pride thing for these guys. Like, hey, we really want to win against these guys. Like this means a lot to us. So let's do our homework and really put in that work to try to win this game. And they're doing very, very well. And I honestly, I mean, we saw a lot of mid presence in Pearl when DSU was on attacking, and they kind of just gave it to him. They let him get all the way through art, and then even almost closer onto site. And then at that point, you could kind of just util dump, get your trades going that way. And it almost secured a free plant for DSU almost every single time.
I gotta point out because now that you're reminding me of a couple things, DSU was the only one running a Sentinel. It was the Killjoy, and they did a fantastic job on the offense. That they were set up better to be on the defense, where Dickinson really didn't have anything to have stopping power, honestly, on that defense. And so hopefully some different agent choices, some different compositions will be coming into this map 2 here. Looks like, I guess we are going to Icebox. Frog, I'm going to have to call you out on this later because you told me split. I don't even know if we're going to Ascent last or what have you.
So. I really hope so. But the way that DSU is playing, I'm not sure if we're going to.
I'm going to reread this in detail.
See a pretty strong pick here from Lunchbox and Jay Mula, going with a nice KJ and Sova pick.
I think he just typed wrong because it says DS pick split, and then later in the pick band it says DS band split. And so I'm assuming that was just a bit of a mistype or what have you. But
kind of a change of agents here. We see Frog Fan actually playing Viper now, so get ready to be mixed up by that. And
no, I guess I'm not all that surprised. I gotta say, seeing Billy on Viper is what confuses me because beforehand, Frog was really the mainstay controller player, and I think he still is for our varsity team. And so I would always see him on the Viper because it used to be like a year ago, Viper was the mainstay controller. She was strong on all of the maps. And I'm not too terribly surprised to be seeing Billy hovering and probably locking in the Sage. However, I have to point this out, Colin. We're seeing a Chamber coming out of DS.
We are. And you know, not a crazy pick. We see there's a lot of like intersecting walls and a lot of walls that are parallel to each other, especially on like B side, I believe it is. We're going to wait and see because I don't want to get my letters mixed up. But, you know, when you're playing Kitchen, it's really easy to rotate off and, you know.
That'll be B site.
Yep. Okay, we're good then.
The one with yellow and all that, the outdoor site.
Playing Kitchen and maybe even Boiler, you know, you can still get those, you can get that teleport off and you kind of transition. But honestly, the slow it's not really all that effective in my opinion, and the ultimate it just is essentially a free operator.
I gotta say the slow, in my mind, feels like a worse alarm bot because the alarm bot they both do the same thing. You're using it for the primary effect of getting information. You're not so much banking on the fact that the alarm bot will apply the vulnerability or the tripwire will. Or trip mine. I don't remember what is this called. You don't play for that to apply the slow like you used to, and so it's just kind of it's the same idea as an alarm bot, and you only have one, but it is such a smaller area of effect as well, and it's such an easier target to kill as well because the alarm bot will move after a little bit. The trip mine does not.
I will say that I do like.
And then we're seeing. The Chamber coming out with the special sheriff. They're going to be opening up this map. And that's why you picked the agent. You have a free gun.
That is true. And I will say, you know, the reason that maybe Chamber isn't a terrible pick on this map is that we see a lot of lurks and a lot of flanks on Icebox. It is such a small map. Being able, because once you know that someone's hitting A, you can immediately start rotating into their spawn and start going from behind them. And so maybe it's not a terrible pick. But then again, KJ would also be a very, very solid pick for something like that.
I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what all has been nerfed for Chamber. Does his trip mine have the same like radius that Killjoy stuff has? I want to say it does, but I was seeing Chamber play so far away from his util.
I'm not too sure on the comparison between KJ and Chamber. However, I don't think that it was changed since he's been nerfed. I don't remember entirely. It was a patch about a month or two ago, so it's been quite a while.
Okay, this just completely slipped my mind, and I'm only now noticing it. I was like, we're seeing a Chamber instead of a Killjoy, but no, we're seeing a Chamber with a Killjoy. Dickinson has a triple Sentinel composition.
I mean, not a terrible idea. And I do want to preface this. I'm not going to say any of their names because I'm going to get super, super confused.
Yeah, I'm not saying it.
Pooper, Scooper, and Scooper, Pooper. So I'm just going to stick to the agent names if that's okay with everybody else.
If go back and watch any VOD of me casting this team, I've never said their names once.
I can't do it. I'm gonna get confused.
Saruka and Young Savage, I'll say, but everyone else is maybe Fatal, but everyone else is just their agent pick. Sorry.
A lot more A aggression here from DSU. They lost the last round, unfortunately. You know, they managed to get. Yeah, that's a very, very true thing, man. I can't preface that enough.
And we're going to see a huge rotate from Dickinson. They have 4 people here. With DSU, they're going to continue the attack, pressure this. And we do see a Vandal coming out from the Viper.
Playing super slow here. Farkin tries to go for a pick, but not quite able to get it. The bomb goes down. Billy with a classic, not quite able to get his pick either. Then again, Spectre, classic. It's hard to beat that, man.
I was say, you can do it, but it just looks like he was tracing the dude's head. That was just a bit of RNG that wasn't quite going Billy's way. But I gotta say, I don't want to say that the triple Sentinel is gonna come and bite them in the butt on the offense because Sage is a great pick while or during post plant and just getting the plant down. You're able to have such more safe plants just by having that Sage. KJ's execute, you're seeing a double Sentinel from DSU respectively because KJ's execute and defense premise is so strong. And
What
I mean,
an
Chambers
amazing dart there from Jay Mula.
Chambers basically a duelist at this point. So yes, it's a triple sentinel, but all of them are well enough. Jay Mula just seeing the shoulder there.
Good eye, Jay Mula.
And that was such a fantastic flick just onto the agent. But nothing will be spotted with the Aladrone.
But I do think that you're right, MJ. I think that, especially when it comes time for DS to go on offense, I think that maybe they'll start to struggle a little bit. Again, I do agree with the Sage and KJ combo. I think that KJ is a super, super strong attacker, especially like with her ult. I think that I've gone through Valoplant and I've run through scenarios with KJ and her ultimate on B site, and it is just such a large radius. And Sage, of course, having the wall is a super strong pick along with the Viper ult.
We just saw that just what netted the plant there was that Viper or that Sage wall.
Exactly. And so super, super strong combo. I don't know if I can attest for the chamber. I don't know if the chamber can bring super strong weight to the table on attack. I just don't know if I'm seeing it exactly.
Yeah, because you see, the benefit of running the Jet, because Jet and Chamber are very interchangeable. You can if you're good on one, you're pretty much good on the other because they're both the mainstay operator players. And we've always seen an operator being bought up by the Chamber player, but what Jet has is the ability to get in easier and also potentially get out easier, where Chamber has no entry ability, but has really good just denial ability. Because every Sentinel, like the idea of a Sentinel character is, this is my area, this is my playground, you don't come here or you're gonna have a bad day. And where Cypher has that just from information, KJ has that in damage from the mollies and turret, Sage has that in slow and the wall. Really, Chamber's way of doing that is, if you come here, I'm gonna hit you with an operator.
And that's exactly what happened that round, actually. We see that Chamber gave his presence with the operator on top of yellow, and they immediately rotated, popping the KJ ultimate on top. Drops his gun as well. Probably didn't mean to do that. He'll need that one if he wants to secure the round. And it looks like they might just get another free plant here.
That's the power of the KJ ultimate. It's able to net you so much area that the opposing team has to respect. You cannot stay in that without dying.
Xion throwing his util over the wall there, trying to create some more space for his team. And it comes down to a 5v2 situation. Chamber kind of just holding way back on site, or on spawn, I'm sorry. Kind of, if I were him, I'd probably just be saving the op at this point.
And there we go.
Billy.
Billy's going to get a little overzealous. A little overzealous, but Chamber's going to back out. That'll be all she wrote from this round, as saving that operator is such a huge play going into this next round.
Yeah, he'll really need that if he wants to kind of help with his eco and the rest of his team going forward. But, you know, now it's 2-2. Now that DSU had the opportunity to start buying guns, buying full util, buying good armor, you know, now it's going to be a little bit tighter.
And I've talked about in the past the idea of bringing in hero rifles, and like if someone does save, it's not the worst idea in the world to force up to try to get the most value off of that. But this is an operator.
I think Jay Mula is going to amaze the entire crowd right here with this. I think he's got a crazy shock dart lineup. And if I were to guess, it's going to hit Snowman.
We got to watch it.
Shoots it high.
Oh, this is a window.
Going into kitchen.
Is that for the turret?
Oh, wow. He had two of them.
Gonna take down the turret.
Wow. I love watching. Those are my favorite things in the world. I love solo lineups. They're so fun.
Did you say a lineup that would shock the world because it's a shock dart? Or did I completely hear that wrong and thought of the pun and like forced it on what you said? I don't think that's what you actually said, but that came to my mind.
We're gonna say that I said that because it's really cool. That's a funny pun.
Billy playing with fire here. He's gonna tempt out the operator shot. Oh, that aggression from the Chamber. He is gonna make his way out of dodge.
Throwing his wall down so he can get the orb for his ult, and then gonna be rotating off. It looks like we might get. Oh, and what a nice idea to res that there.
That's just the power of Billy. He's able to read that we can still have this 5 versus 5. We have a site, as Dickinson had rotated all the way off.
And once again, another free plant there. Xion trying to get a kill with his ult, but
He
not
got
quite
a
able.
lot of damage on Saruka.
A little bit of tick damage there with the sheriffs coming out. Oh, and the operator gets its first kill.
Second kill technically, but it was rezzed. But this is DSU just making the weaponry difference here. The chamber will live, but finally will fall. No one from DSU going to be going for the operator, so they're going to let that gun fade out.
And Jay Mula picking up 3 there.
It's a huge investment from DS. They were able to make it work for 2 rounds, but now they've lost it, not able to buy into another one. However, we're already seeing the player card turn green, so we know that Chamber has another operator in the form of the Tour de Force. Not
And,
nearly as many shots, but pretty much the same effectiveness.
And I think that the ultimate is not only an operator, but it's such a nice gun to use when you're on an eco round. Because it grants, it's a one-shot kill, and there we are. We see Jay Mula going for another crazy shock dart. Looks like it might go towards Boiler. A little bit too high.
I think he needed either another bounce there, or it was a little bit to the left, because I think that was for Boiler.
I believe so.
Oh, is he going for another one?
He's here for the content.
Okay, I think last week during the interview, I asked him about the lineups that he has. There we go.
There we go.
And that's going to clear out that whole area. Can it take down the alarm bot? But I had asked him about the lineups that he had. Billy gonna be double swinged. Only good for the 2, but he's able to do a ton of damage.
Create a lot of space here for these guys on A as they try to swarm the Sova, and they're going to be good for the Sova. And it looks like they might be good for another free plant. They really haven't been contested too much when planting.
It's just the Tour de Force left. And honestly, people say that the operator is a bad gun to have on retake just because of its nature of not being able to be as fluid. You have to really be standing still. I would say the Tour de Force is almost worse because of the slow feel that it applies. When you're on the retake with it, then we're going to see him pick up a Phantom, which is a very smart idea going into this.
Not able to get the KJ util there. He's going to be taking a little bit of tick damage.
I think he shot his own teammates, Molly, not going to lie.
Once again, some
might
more
just
tick
make
damage.
it out with the Phantom. I'm gonna be honest, this chamber has lived, or this is a second round that he's gonna be bonusing on, so that's
And he's
a
going to be
lot of
bonusing
econ.
on his own ultimate, not even shooting the ultimate a single time. So super unfortunate for him. Although, it's kind of a tough situation. Maybe DS needs to start kind of rotating just a little bit faster on defense when they're trying to get the bomb down. Because Chamber being the last man alive, something's going wrong because he's almost consistently the last man alive. And so maybe he's just holding B the entire time. Maybe he needs to kind of change position, maybe play a little bit more mid presence, because we saw Billy last round get 2 picks through mid as Jamila helped him clear mid.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't be mad if Dickinson just left mid, because we haven't really seen all that much aggression from DSU in mid. They've really only been going to the sites. They will be taking down the chamber this round. With that, it's just going to be the Viper left on this B defense, as that's where DSU seems to be wanting to
Viper
go.
kind of has like a little bit of a one-way made for herself, a little bit of a bubble. We're playing inside the bubble, but they already have it red.
That's a very, very easy read. We've seen that several times before.
Big Jamula's gonna throw his ult out. Billy shooting his teammate there, getting a little bit nervous.
He's able to take down Circa, dropping out of the Hunter's Fury. And that'll be a 1 kill for DS.
DSU is just going off right now. They are doing fantastic.
That's just. It just seems like they're just walking through. DSU,
They get 1 pick, and then it's pretty much just, okay, time to go plant the bomb.
Oh, Chamber, don't do that to me. I was going to say, you're buying up to another operator and then immediately selling it to a Vandal. I'd say it's probably the wiser choice of the two. You're not seeing a whole lot of value coming from these operators. But honestly, I want to see the Chamber move. I'm not seeing all that much actual value coming from the Chamber sitting on B here. Similar to what you had said earlier, that they're just not... I completely lost my train of thought there.
Sorry, I was amazed by the shock dart as well.
I was talking, and then immediately brain was like gone.
No, I think that
I'm not seeing all that much value seeing the chamber sitting on B.
I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing that they're getting maybe just a little bit lucky with their timing, right? Because Billy was able to get a very nice pick on Sova as Sova pops his ult, which, that's kind of on Sova's part because, your fire rate is going to be very slow when you pop your ult. Though you can do damage through walls, if someone sees you, you're almost pretty much dead. And, Zia getting 2 amazing picks at the very end of that last round, he just kind of caught them off guard.
The turret's going to spot the chamber, so that would have been a good kill onto Frog, but it's 1 for 1 right now. A res did come through.
Oh, Lunchbox not being able to clear that corner in time, but Billy's going to be good for 2 and going to get the bomb down.
30 seconds left.
We're into a 3v2 situation. Chamber playing very close here. Oh, I'm sorry, that was...
Killjoy playing very close. Gonna be taking down 1, but it's a 1 versus 1. Billy forced to reload!
Oh, no.
And that'll be a 3rd round 1 for Dickinson.
Oh, you do not see that happen very many times when you take a fight and you don't realize that you're so low on ammo. And you're stuck in the middle of the fight having to reload, and that's super unfortunate for Billy there.
But that will be a 3rd round for Dickinson. Might be what they need to get into it. But we're seeing the chamber once again, the last one alive. And when that Killjoy was so far into A and finally got a kill and then was immediately traded, I mean, Chamber was still in his spawn. He wasn't even at the door to get into A. He was nowhere close. He was off in no man's land. And we're seeing, I want to say, I'm seeing a lot of hesitancy from the chamber player. That's why I wanted him off of B. Maybe get him in mid, in kitchen a little bit to have some of that impact. Because the dude's top fragging for his team, who's obviously doing really well, but
yeah, I agree.
Not quite getting what they need.
Not quite. And again, being the consistently last man back, doing a very good job getting his picks, but not quite doing a great job as a team, I would say. Billy gonna be good for 1, getting him through the wall.
That doesn't apply to this round as he will be the first to fall. But
Lunchbox.
Spike is still hanging out towards A. We have 2 players in mid, Lunchbox pushing all the way up into kitchen. And that'll be Billy taking a lot of space, putting the wall up too.
Oh,
he will
Viper's
be
gonna be good
found
for
out,
1.
however. And that, other than the kitchen, that's almost the entire B push shut down. Lunchbox though with a great lurk, gonna take 1. Make it out unscathed as well.
Gotta be careful for that mid presence there on orange, though. Frog fan playing inside of the smoke.
He's gonna push
not
out
quite able.
right before it drops too.
Sion deciding to plant here. Looks like Young Savage is gonna be able to get a res on Sova there.
Shots going wide. Xeon has 10 bullets left.
Oh, and the head dink for the Phantom, but not able to get this fast kill. Gonna get a little bit of tick damage there, but secures the kill. Sees 2. Pops the ult, but it's not quite the trajectory.
And that'll be another round 1 for Dickinson. Coming back a little bit into this, they're gonna end up stringing 2 rounds together, so they should have a pretty good buy.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I was a little bit, maybe I just didn't fully understand, but I was a little bit confused by the plan that DSU had because they had pushed up so far through B, yet they left the bomb over at A. And maybe that was just like kind of a fallback plan for them, but I don't know if I can fully wrap my head around what they were trying to do there.
I want to say that it was like a default-esque play, or maybe like fake out rotates really hard, but then as soon as the 2 players fell, everyone rotated over to B. And so I would have maybe liked to see Frog or Lunchbox take that spike over towards A because they were rotating out.
They were rotating very, very fast, I agree.
But I think it was just a default plan that didn't quite go to plan.
So yeah, heavy push on A here. We've got Sion, Billy, and it looks like maybe even a 4-stack, 5-stack even.
You should run.
KJ ult's gonna come out. They're gonna be forced off of sight.
And that's Young Savage with the opening kill.
They don't. Ult's gonna come down as well.
It was Billy that fell, so no res coming in. However, Frog Fan's ultimate is gonna net them a huge boon on this post plant.
Oh, and it looks like their Killjoy ult is going to come out as well.
That's going to force Frog completely out of his ultimate unless they're able to take it down. However, taking it down is no easy task.
For 2.
They have to fall. Frog fan will fall, so the Viper ult will be going down regardless. But we have the Hunter's Fury. We have plenty of stuff for the
Oh, what a
post-plant, and they line up for it. Oh, he knows that one's here. He's got to win this fight. He's got to get there faster. But that's
Not
the defuse
quite.
for Young Savage.
Oh my. And we are kind of seeing a little bit of a turnaround here for DS. You know, and honestly, credit to both teams. You know, they're both playing very well. They're playing each other's cards very, very smart. We see the KJ ult come out for us, and then the Viper ult come out, and then immediately after the Viper ult comes out, we see their KJ pop their ult, and that pretty much just negated everything that they were working towards.
Because you cannot stay in your Viper's pit when that KJ ult comes out, and you can leave your ult for like 5 seconds. And that was not enough time to be able to get back into it, allowing DS to just negate that ultimate entirely. They didn't have to commit to anything before that KJ ultimate popped.
Gonna be seeing a 5-stack on B here, but playing a little bit slower.
I gotta say, I love that Dickinson was able to read that the operator wasn't necessarily working. I think it could with a little bit of a switch up in play, but they switched on to the Vandal. Props to the Chamber player because now it's been working for them.
See a lot of shots being fired through the smoke here as we try to decide whether to keep on pushing through this and try to kill the Viper. You know, get that smoke taken out. Looks like Viper's gonna be good on Chamber.
Oh, Frog Fan's good for two.
Watch out for the smoke though. They have to know that Viper's playing inside the smoke, and oh, he sees his gun.
Gun sticks out. That's happened that's happened to too many Vipers. I get war flashbacks whenever I see that happen.
Gonna be down to a 4v1 here. Young Savage gonna have to pull out a miracle if he wants to get this round and get the lead up to DS.
Still doing a lot of work. That's a molly down on it. I was gonna say he has to know that the alarm bot's there at this point. Just the util stall coming from DSU.
So
gonna net them a lot.
potential.
Young Savage.
The wall comes out.
Yep, there's the break. You don't really have all that much time to deal with.
Double swing. Oh, he's gonna be good for 1, but Lunchbox gets the trade.
He had to have stuck it there too. I don't think he would have had time, even if he did get the kill. If he
I
did,
agree.
it would be less than a second left.
It would have been it would have been like me pulling the food out of the microwave right before it hits 0, kind of close.
Can't wake up mom and dad, must pull out. But we're seeing a very close game. DSU, they're gonna net themselves at least an even score line. And we're gonna be seeing another stack towards B. I gotta say, with this last round in the half, a very broken buy coming out of Dickinson, but that will be another tour de force, the second of this half, popped. So they do have, I think it's 1 Vandal and 1 Operator-esque weapon to work with. Really, only Billy's gonna have his ultimate up for this. That Rez is able to bring back a player, but really, it's gotta be Billy that lives. Jamul will fall first. And with that, Billy
and the ultimate comes out
falls.
as well. A lot of game sense coming from their Sova there as he's able to pick up the ult kill.
Top shot goes wide.
Gotta be careful for their Viper playing through yellow.
That's gonna be 1. They only have a Marshall, and that's just the weaponry difference coming in, but so much work from Saruka. That Sheriff and that Hunter's Fury especially is gonna be netting them so much value. It's down just to Xeon, 49 HP left. Not gonna be spotted by the Owl drone.
Not a terrible idea to re-hit this though. Give us some time and wait for them to kind of rotate off. Gonna be spotted though, so they know that he's here.
30 seconds left.
Hit through the wall a couple of
15
times.
HP.
Gonna have to pre-fire almost everything to be able to stay alive and avoid getting tick damaged, but unable to pick up the other 2 kills.
And that will be a 6-6 half. We're seeing a much different Dickinson State in their map pick. So was Pearl just that it was DSU's map pick and they were very, very familiar with that map? Or is this actually just DSU or Dickinson coming back and playing with a little bit of fury of their own?
You know, I think that, you know, what you mentioned before, Pearl being relatively new, maybe DS hasn't quite figured it out as much as DSU has. You know, we saw that DSU was very, very comfortable on offense and very, very comfortable on defense, you know, despite losing a couple of rounds in defense. I mean, they were doing so well, and now we're seeing a little bit more back and forth action going on. DS is really coming and, you know, kind of giving a better showing here, like we kind of expected in the first game, or the first map, I'm sorry. And this is, I think this is a better representation of what we were expecting in map 1.
Everyone from DSU bought light shields and is sticking with the classic. I gotta say, that's my go-to buy on pretty much every agent I play, but I could count on probably one hand the amount of entire teams or all 5 players buy light shields and stick with the classic, because someone goes for the ghost. Someone always goes for the
almost
ghost.
Always, yeah. It has that headshot potential. Ooh, Xion gonna be taking a little bit of tick damage there. Trying to just peek out and see who's there on B.
He should be able to survive at least one more sheriff shot. Just been buying that extra 25 HP. But only one blast pack left to work with. Like, I'm surprised Xeon even bought the light shields. That must have been like a comms thing or something that DSU had planned. They'd rather buy the utility, but...
A lot of defaulting here from DS, but it looks like they might be reaching a little bit more towards the A side as they're pushed up super far onto site. And now we see kind of everyone going through A main, but it looks like their Vipers kind of taking advantage of the space that Lunchbox is giving them.
That'll be a 1-for-1 trade. The killjoy is going to be good for 1, but it's still back and forth.
Viper playing from their spawn now.
DSU, they will be getting the numbers advantage, and I don't think they have the read on this spawn play. They may have just heard him.
Steps come out. Gonna be like right clicks, and Xeon is gonna be able to pick it up.
6 seconds left. There wasn't a whole lot that Viper could do, so they had to start rushing in, but not the quintuple classic play. I gotta say, I respect it.
You know, I really thought it was smart, to be honest. You know, I actually also do the classic and light shield. I think that it's a pretty smart pick. You know, even maybe you know certain characters can have a ghost.
But say a Jet always buys Ghost. You have no reason to buy shields in classic.
But as I play a lot of Sage, and you know Sage has it with light shield in the classic. I think that's a pretty strong combo in my opinion. I like that pick a lot for at least the first round.
I'm not sure what that Viper wall is really going to accomplish. It cuts off people coming from tube and looking under tube, but otherwise that's a shorty. That's a shorty play. That Billy, you're playing with fire.
Oh my gosh, he tries to go for the knife kill.
Billy just sitting there and watching the Sova run at him, firing one shorty shot as he just picks up the orb. Not a care in the world.
And he is seriously fighting for that orb, throwing down his wall both rounds since he's been on defense now. And you know, as a Sage, I don't know if I particularly find my ultimate useful. You know, it is useful in certain situations, but I can't just pop it whenever I want to, kind of thing. And so it's a little strange seeing that he's going for that ult orb every single round here.
I think that also comes into the idea of you're denying it from your opponent as well. Yeah, the Sage ultimate is very powerful in the right situations, but it is still very situational. But also denying like the opposing killjoy from getting that so often is just, it's slowing down the ultimate economy from Dickinson enough that it's able to net DSU a little bit more breathing room. A fantastic shot coming from the chamber player is going to take down Billy. And we're not quite seeing the plant go down quite yet. A lot of util is just stalling for time.
Gonna be a little bit of tick damage coming from both sides. Xeon now at 50 health. They're still trying to get this bomb planted. Jamula 19 health. Really gotta be careful here.
Xeon's gonna get one. But there's so much damage. Everyone is low.
And they're still not able to get this bomb down. They think they might be rotating, but DS is not moving at all. They're just re-hitting this now, playing a little bit quieter.
Do you think? I think Xeon's just trying to make his way into kitchen and try to get some high ground onto him. Frogman's only gonna be good for one. He's gonna have the read, but
Oh, Xion's gonna be able
he's gonna tank
He's
it.
gonna get the afterlife kill.
4 and 4. I was gonna say the chamber just needed to get the kill. As the spike was planted, it was now the ball was in DSU's court. They had everything to lose there, and so really just needed to get the kill. But it's a very, very risky play from the chamber.
Honestly, being like, just because Xion got that final kill now, they have 0 guns. They have to all rebuy. And that's going to be an issue for DS here as we see them buying light shields. And, you know, like, they're going to have to buy vandals and light shields. And that's going to be a huge issue for these guys as DSU can full buy. And now they're kind of at an advantage.
Granted, a headshot from a vandal will kill you no matter what your health is at. But just having that little extra chip ability, the extra 25 HP in case you get spammed through like a wall or you get a couple weird body shots hitting you, you're still able to have such a bigger breathing room than the people on the light shields.
I agree. We see kind of a B hit from DS here.
Which
really
is weird.
Slow.
They lost one and they're not rotating out. They're doubling down on this push. I would have liked to maybe try to draw someone out of this site first. Granted, there's only 2 players here, but
I think that they are seriously trying to get this B push to work for these guys. Oh, and Billy's gonna be good for 2.
Lunchbox getting the spray, and that'll be all she wrote for this
Billy.
round.
Well done. Able to pick up 2 right off the bat as they peek together.
Huge round coming from It's Billy. That's exactly what we expect from a formerly Radiant player.
Not to mention 12 assists from this guy. This guy is going crazy with the heals and the assists, getting chip damage for all of his teammates to finish them off. Doing very, very well.
Now, this might be a hot take, but I gotta say, I am a little bit of an assist hater just because of a recent change they made to a lot of them of like what nets you and what counts an assist. Because it's not just like I did most of the damage to it. Controllers can get assists like no one's business because you have 2 seconds after someone leaves your smoke to earn an assist. I mean, they're no longer even visually impaired by leaving the smoke. At that point, it's just ridiculous. And so a lot of those are probably the heals. A lot of them are probably just slow orbs. People pushing, finally making it out of slow orbs and pushing a little bit further. But yeah, even with that, his 12 assists is still nothing to bat your eye at. Even with them a little bit easier.
He's doing a very good job contributing to the team. Really good for 1, but not able to pick up a second one as they're all over the place. Xion now playing close here, and Chamber has his ult and also playing super close to the wall. The wall comes down.
He's good for 1. But they know he's in this little left corner. They have to deal with him somehow. There we go. Frogpan's good for the 1. Taking down the Tour de Force. They have the numbers now. Lunchbox is making his way around mid, not quite knowing if he wants to flank. And with Xion dropping, they will be pushing their way in here. And Lunchbox perfectly timing his push. Going to take down the 2 players as they go for the plant. And that'll be DSU now in the double digits on Icebox.
Yeah, you know, they're getting down to kind of the wire almost every single round. You know, we're seeing a lot of trades happening. But we see a DSU coming out on top. And, you know, I think I'm seeing DS a lot of the times. They're having a hard time getting the bomb planted. I've seen them having...
Very different from Pearl.
Just it's a very hard time getting this bomb down. You know, because everyone's still alive. You know, they're letting them get on the site, but like they're not letting them plant the bomb.
It's a very different vibe than what we saw on Pearl, and I think that does come down to the fact that on Pearl we saw double initiator, double controller, nets you a lot of vision denial and information on your own terms. But now we're seeing triple sentinel, even if it is the chamber who's going huge this round. The chamber is still not able to gain you as much information on the offense. So the spike, although it is going down pretty easily this turn, this entire half as a whole, it's been struggling quite a bit. Ooh. Dueling Killjoy ultimates will be going out. DSU and DS, they have equal numbers and both have to back out. Oh, both players are gonna be caught.
Oh, but they can't get on until theirs go away. Knifes out there are trying to get on this site and find them.
I think that's just enough time for them to be able to pull their gun out.
Oh, they essentially just canceled out. That was great for them. And a crazy crossfire coming out from DS.
Lunchbox running out of time. He has to get something here.
Firing
Good for
wildly, he's
one.
good for one.
I don't know.
He has to stick it. He cannot get off this bomb.
He's good
No,
for him, but not quite able to get the bomb.
Had to hold it a
unfortunately.
little bit longer and maybe would have had it, but yeah, if he had it halved there, I think he would have had the bomb. But
I agree. Yeah,
just
super
the
unfortunate.
last millisecond, Uju, he had to get off.
But once again, we're seeing it kind of come down to the wire. 1v1 situations, 1v2 situations. There really isn't a blowout from either side in every single round here so far.
We're seeing it in the economy as well. I mean, both teams are having to negotiate prices and negotiate weaponry here. Having to choose maybe light shields or maybe some abilities in order to buy up to these weaponry. DSU does have a little bit of the healthier buy. However, the spam from DS going down, trying to take down that wall immediately is going to scare both players out. However, we have two players are going to be lurking up A, getting quite a lot of room so far. The spike is hanging out towards B. I can almost guarantee that's where the hit will be. Still using util, making sure that the A push is slowing down.
DS giving Xeon a little bit of space as they were trying to get away from the Owl drone, but a lot of mid presence now as DS kind of transfers over to A, but they still have people lurking over at B to try to negate that lurk.
They've only now made it to the ultimate orb on B, and they immediately back out. Not a lot of ground has been bought by Dickinson State. They had a little bit of real estate on A, but with that Owl drone, they backed out nearly immediately.
Oh, and he's going to be able to see his arm.
I think that's going to be the call for the
30 seconds left.
execute. Billy has to get this kill, but no, the Viper, it will be traded, and the spike will be planted.
Lunchbox getting a little bit more pressure presented on him, but he's able to pick up one. The bomb goes down for DS, but it's going to be a 4v3 situation inside of DSU, so...
It was a very slow start, and I think it paid off as trades are going back and forth.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, Xeon
It's
with a
just
nice
netting
flick.
for Dakota State. Nade goes out, but Frogman will be there for the kill, and that will be DSU up to 11. Really turning the heat up in this match to 11 is Dickinson, though. As I liked the, I want to say I didn't like the play initially of them having no real estate, but then that Viper was able to push up mid and able to get into a spot to really take down Billy to low health. However, I think that was just a misplay by Billy. That wasn't necessarily the Viper player like playing well. He saw the shoulder, and that was just from Billy not playing the angle wide enough.
Yeah, that was super unfortunate for Billy. And I think he just wanted to play the closest angle to the right-hand side just in case they tried to swing from the right. But Viper was actually playing from the left-hand side and was able to see just a little bit of his arm. And now we see a 5-stack coming out from DS on A, and it's going to be a lot of pressure here.
AC4.
Trying to push through. J-Mula is good for one. However, DS continues to push through. J-Mula is good for another.
And this just looks like the push has been shut down. The res will come out, but Frogfan's good for 2. It's down just to the Viper.
Oh,
and that like
no.
Frogfan on a 3rd.
Oof, what a devastating round for DS there. And they kind of had to do something like that because they actually bought that round.
And now
They actually bought that
we
round.
saw the same thing on Pearl where
And
they tried to force up. That was a Spectre in the Viper's hand. And so they were trying to
Oh,
force
my.
up to try to get into that round, maybe force the issue a little bit, keep them on 11. But I'm going to be honest, I don't like that play. We saw it fail on Pearl, and now you're at such a horrid buy going into this, not map point, but match point.
Yeah, that was... I don't know if I enjoyed that play at all from DS there. That was just a super risky play to try to take, and I don't know if it... I mean, yes, it could have kept them at 11, but how much
Billy's
longer...
good for 1. We had 4 players just pressuring him with the Hunter's Fury as well, and he's able to dodge and weave. However, this Viper has pushed up. He's going to make himself known. Lunchbox falls. Numbers in the advantage for Dickinson, but they have so many ults to deal with. Pooper Scooper drops. That'll be Xeon taking down the Viper ultimate. The Viper's pick gone. That was pretty much all they had to win this round. They have even numbers, but it's just ultimate difference here for Dakota State, and Xeon's getting so aggressive.
And
As the trades are
Xeon.
going out. It's down just to Young Savage, who has to make something work, but Xeon's gonna take him down. Xeon with a triple. Gonna finish out not just Icebox, but this match. Dakota State will be your victors tonight.
That was a very, very tight game. You know, maybe we expected a little bit more showing in the first map, but this map specifically on Icebox was a very, very good game. We saw a lot of back and forth trade. There was a lot of economic challenge between both teams, not just DS, but both teams. And, you know, a lot of trades happening. You know, we saw a little bit more performance from these guys. And, you know, we kind of saw what they were really, you know, worth showing.
I mean, I gotta say, Dickinson did look a lot better on Icebox than what they did on Pearl, but I feel like there must be some disconnect because this does not feel like the same Dickinson we saw last semester. Last semester, it was a lot more heated. It was still pretty much as close as it was, but there were just some economic decisions and some errors that really shouldn't have happened coming out from Dickinson that I expected a little bit better. Still fantastic players all around, and we saw it, especially on Icebox. We were able to string a couple rounds together, but I mean, the force up on the 11 on both maps.
I think that was, I don't know if I agree with that play at all, to be honest. Like, yes, like even if it's just so hard for me to imagine that, like you're buying a Spectre and you're full rushing A, and with the intention of killing 5 people who have a very, very healthy economy. And winning that round, it's just hard to imagine, especially without popping an ultimate, with the exception of the Sage ult. We saw the Sage ult come out after Viper was taken down.
Yeah, but that's a
but
res.
That's just
That's
a res.
just getting an extra player
If they had
in the
like,
round.
if they had, say, the KJ ult and they were able to kind of secure the site, that might have been a little bit more of a game changer, but they just didn't really have anything going for them. And so I think that saving that round with the intention of going into the next round, being on 12, yes, you would have been in a scary position being on 12. You would have had a little bit more to work with rather than a Spectre and Light Shields. It's really tough to kind of...
And that's just a gamble you have to take every time your opponent is on the... just round 11. I was going to try to come up with something clever for it, like match point, and I'm like, that's so stupid. Anyway, when they're on their 11th rounds, you don't have much ground you can give up left, but you do have a little bit. So having just that extra little bit of wiggle room to be able to, let's save this round, be able to buy next, full utility and full everything, so we're at full strength going into it, even though they're on 12, or even though they will be on 12, if we save here, we can possibly snowball that all the way into an overtime. You still have a mountain to get over, but I'd rather have that challenge than, hey, we're already on a very broken buy. Let's try to fight this, and then maybe we'll be better. Because it didn't work. It didn't work.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, and going up against DSU on defense, that's pretty tough. I mean, they played very, very well. We saw a lot of mind games go out. We saw both KJs come out at the exact same time, and they both just had to wait, and it essentially just negated each other's ults, and that was super funny to see. And I really enjoyed seeing stuff like that. But it was super fun. But don't go anywhere. We have a player interview coming up very, very shortly. So make sure you guys stick around. Do you have anything else to kind of point out?
Nothing for right now. We'll see in the post game interview. I do have one specific question for whoever we're interviewing, but stay tuned and you'll be able to see that next. So we'll be throwing it to a quick break. But yeah, stick around. Post game interview.